Session 1. I am Trainer Cliff, and we are here on this journey to learning the Mac. Today I'm going to tell you a little bit more about my history with the Mac and show you a few things to get you started until we have a Q&A session, maybe a demo, and some other stuff on in next class. I started using my Mac back in 2000, had to be 11, I guess. I got it for a Father's Day present. Back then it was 4 gigs of RAM, i7 processor. I think it was only a dual core back then, and I can't remember much hard drive. Oh, it was a terabyte, but it was a spinning drive. It wasn't a SSD and the speed that you get today. I started on Snow Leopard, but a month later was able to upgrade to Lion. So yes, it was a spinning drive, no SSD. It came with the Bluetooth keyboard, but it came with the old style that came with 2 AA batteries. Now you get USB-C to lightning cable to charge it with if you have an iMac, and if you have a MacBook Air or Pro or the new Pro Max, the new M1 MacBook Pros, then you have a built-in keyboard.
Finder, desktop.
There are some people that don't like the keyboard that the MacBook Pro or the MacBook Air come with. I am not one of them. I don't know. I guess it's personal preference. I prefer not to buy another Bluetooth keyboard, Apple or otherwise, because the keyboard that comes on the MacBook Air and Pro do me just fine. Sometimes I buy the overlay, the rubber overlay, so my fingers don't slide as easy on the keyboard, but other than that, I use the keyboard. Now, I do not use the trackpad. I always turn that off. Currently now I'm using a 2021 24-inch M1 iMac, the ones that came out last May. So I have the Bluetooth keyboard that comes with the Touch ID sensor on it, but I don't use it. I prefer my Logitech keyboard that costs the same and can connect with 3 devices, so I can switch between my phone, my iPad, or my Mac. That's neither here nor there. But yeah, I started with my iMac 27-inch back in 2011. 4 gigs of RAM. I updated it to 16 gigs of RAM by myself. I think I actually have a YouTube video of that. Maybe if I can find it, I'll post it. And a terabyte of spinning hard drive space. Now, what I did, because I didn't have the resources back then to learn the Mac, I didn't have a book, I didn't have listservs, I didn't have Apple support, accessibility, I should say. It wasn't like it was today. So I sold all my PCs, 2 laptops and a desktop, and literally locked myself in my room for probably 6 months. Not overnight. I mean, I would come out during the day and spend time with my family and stuff, but I literally locked myself in front of that Mac for hours on end to learn it, to master it, to know what I could find out. I did have a few friends that already had Macs. They gave me some pointers, but it's not like the support you're going to get in the teaching you're going to get in this course. Like I said, don't know it all, and I'm learning every day. But my mentors, I call them, Tim Kilborn and John Panarese, will be stopping by here and there to answer some questions and maybe do a demonstration. But when I don't know something, them are the 2 I go to. Of course, I have some Take Control books, getting to know certain aspects of the Mac that you can buy on the Take Control website. Great books. It's not from a voiceover standpoint, but once you learn voiceover, you won't need it to be from a voiceover standpoint. You'll be able to implement everything that they teach you in the books as a voiceover user. So, getting started. Of course, you got to know how to turn on your Mac, and that's going to vary from whatever Mac you own. So if you have a laptop which would be a MacBook Air or MacBook Pro, your power button is more than likely, unless it's before 2017, going to be in the upper right hand corner as where your eject button used to be located. If you have one of the M1 Macs or a MacBook Air or MacBook Pro from 2018 or above, if I'm not mistaken, it's also the Touch ID sensor. I could be wrong on the year, but I know for sure that the M1 MacBook Air and MacBook Pro have them. Why? Because I owned one. I sold both of them, but because I like the iMac setup better. That's just me, personal preference. If you have a Mac Mini, it's in one of the corners. That's what I'm going to say. I think it's in, if the Mac Mini, if the ports are facing away from you, I'm almost positive that it's in the right hand corner. If not, it's on the left hand corner. And it's not a button that sticks out. It's a button that is in, it's kind of an indent, and you push it and you'll hear the chime. Same with the Macs, the 24-inch 2021 M1 Mac iMac that I have. It's on my left side. If I'm facing the screen, if I reach behind, I push the indented button. It's on the left hand side. I'm pretty sure it's that way on the 2019 and 20 Intels. But again, if you feel around for an indentation, you will find it. I can't speak for the Mac Pro because I've never owned one. So once you turn your Mac on, of course you got to go through the language. I can't demonstrate how to set that up because my recording programs have to be already set up and logged in. So just to give you a brief rundown, you're basically going to select your keyboard, your language, letting it know that you're a VoiceOver user, your language, accessibility options, signing into your Apple ID, and getting to your desktop. If that's something that you need help with, you can contact me at support@ttjtech.net, and maybe we can set up a paid one-on-one session. But I'm assuming if you're already taking this class that you've already are logged into your Mac. You just want to get to know it a little bit better. So I'm going to send a link to a shared notes folder where there are some documents that you can look over to your email, and that will give you some keyboard commands, some other things that you can explore. Turning on VoiceOver. This can be done a number of ways. You can use Command F5, and one thing I want to point out, as some people thought in the past you needed FN if your function keys weren't unchecked or unchecked in the system preferences area of your keyboard. That is no longer the case. F5 will work with command to turn VoiceOver on and off, whether that section is checked or unchecked. You can also, if you have a Touch ID sensor, you can hold down the command key and triple click that sensor or power button, and it'll turn VoiceOver on that way. And if you have Siri set up, you can do it that way. Those are the accessible ways to do it. If you have sighted help, of course, you can tell them where to go to turn it on. But the traditional way is Command F5, or hold down the command key and triple click that Touch ID sensor. Or, again, if you have Siri set up, ask Siri. So, let's starting by navigating a few things. Your modifier key can either be your caps lock key, or your option and control key, or you can have them set to both. I don't use much of either one because I'm a quick naver, but that's something for down the line. So as it right now, we're just going to say the modifier key, whichever one you choose to use. So to get to your modifier, to get to the dock, you put your modifier key in the letter D.
Finder.
And the first thing on my dock is my Finder. Oh yeah, let me slow down my speech. I always forget to do that.
Rate 65%. 60, 50, 50, 45%, 40%. Finder.
Alright, so we're on Finder.
Photos.
My photos is there.
Podcasts.
My podcast app is there.
Feedback Assistant.
I'm a beta tester, so my feedback assistant is there.
Separator. ExpressVPN.
And see, and then all the way over to the... Then that's all I have on my dock, because I use commanders or shortcut key combinations, for lack of a better term, to get to my docks. We'll talk about that later.
Action. Finder. Desktop.
And to close the dock, you push escape. to get to your applications folder, it's Command Shift A.
Applications window, list view.
And I use list view to switch it. You would use Command 1 will give you
As icons checked.
as
Icon view.
icons. That's more of a visual thing. Command 2 will give you,
As list checked. List view.
and that's my preferred method. Command 3 will give you,
As columns checked. List
As
one item
columns.
selected.
some people
Apple
prefer,
News. Full.
be quiet. I prefer list view. Some people prefer column view, especially as not being someone who uses quick nav, because they say it's a faster way to navigate as it relates to moving stuff around in and out of folders. I don't know, because I really don't use it. And Command 4 will give you
As gallery checked. Gallery view. One item selected.
gallery
9
view.
to 5 Mac.
Now, a gallery view will give you again, it's a more of, I've rarely never even used it as a voiceover user, so I can't even begin to tell you what it looks like, but I've heard that it's not very friendly as a voiceover user. So I'm gonna put mine back on list view.
As list checked. List view.
Alright, and I'm gonna close my applications folder.
Close window. Desktop.
One of the things I do want to show you though is the help menu. So you'll push your modifier key and letter H.
Voiceover help menu. 5 items.
Alright, let's explore and see what we have in here.
User guide control option. Question mark.
Alright, and you notice when you go to each item, it's going to tell you what you can use to get to that quickly. These are things that were already set up, not something that I implemented with a commander.
Commands help menu control option. HH.
Commands HH, that will take you to your commands.
Keyboard help control option. K.
Keyboard command option K. What did it say?
Keyboard help control option. K.
Basically, the voiceover keys. Command. No, that's
Command
not.
keyboard help control option. K.
Yeah, that is the voiceover modifier. So Control Option K will take you to keyboard help. And basically what that does is you push that and you push any key or any key combination, it will tell you what they do. So something to explore on your own.
Sounds help menu.
Sounds help, and there's a sub menu here that we could go
Sounds
over.
help menu. 75 items. Actions available. Animation shaking. Announcement basic alert. Application updated an item. Attachment begin.
So basically it's just telling you what the option is, or not the option, but what the sound is, and it gives you the sound so you can see what it's going to make when you go to that. I'm not going to go through all 75 because you can do that on your own.
Voiceover help menu on sounds help menu. Quick start tutorial control option FN command 8.
Okay, that's definitely the one that I wanted to show you, and it said FN 8. Let me see what
Sound
it says.
quick start tutorial control option FN command 8.
So it gave you a list of keys there to push. It's telling you to use the FN key just in case. I must not have my function keys checked as function keys because I don't use them often. But basically it's telling you that that's how you get to the quick start. And if you go into that quick start, it will walk you through some basic tutorials on how to get to know your Mac. We'll explore that in a little bit.
Quick start tutorial control option FN command 8.
Well, actually it's the last option, so we might as well hit enter on that.
The VoiceOver Quick Start. In this Quick Start, you'll learn VoiceOver basics, as well as important VoiceOver commands to help you navigate on your Mac and use apps. You can exit the Quick Start at any time and finish it later. To advance through the Quick Start panels now, use the arrow keys located to the right of the main keyboard keys. On a portable computer, they're located in the bottom right corner of the keyboard. The up arrow and down arrow keys are positioned one above the other, with the left arrow and right arrow keys on either side. Now continue to the next panel by pressing the right arrow key. To exit at any time, press the escape key. Panel 1 of 20.
Alright, you see that VoiceOver gave you all the information that you would need. And that brings me to a point that I need to reiterate, and I'm probably going to say it way more than you want to hear it during this course. Leave your hints on. If you leave your hints on, or have a way to hear the last hint that VoiceOver was going to tell you, please do, especially as a beginner, because VoiceOver will always tell you what keys to press, where you're at, how to go back, how to get out of it, whatever the case may be. If you don't have your hints on, you may not get that. Now, I'm not going to go through this entire quick start guide, but I am going to hit the left or the right arrow so you can get an idea of how VoiceOver is going to quick start teach you for lack of a better term, because that's where we're at, on how to start knowing your Mac.
Practice what you learn. Many quick start panels include an area where you can use VoiceOver to practice the commands you just learned about on the panel. The quick start plays a sound to indicate when practice begins and ends. When VoiceOver starts and is ready for practice, you will hear the following sound. When VoiceOver stops, you will hear the following sound. Now continue to the next panel by pressing the right arrow key. Panel 2 of 20.
Alright, so VoiceOver gave you, again, all the information you would need. I think I'll go through a couple of more and then I'll exit and let you do this one on your own.
The VoiceOver modifier. You enter VoiceOver commands by pressing the VoiceOver modifier and one or more other keys. You can set the VoiceOver modifier to be the caps lock key or the control and option keys pressed at the same time. By default, you can use either as the VoiceOver modifier. You can change the VoiceOver modifier in VoiceOver utility. The caps lock key is the third key up from the bottom on the left edge of the keyboard. The option key is the second key to the left of the spacebar. The control key is immediately to the left of the option key. On a keyboard with numeric keypad, the option and control keys are also available as the second and third keys to the right of the spacebar. During this quick start, when you need to enter a VoiceOver command, you will hear something like, press VO right arrow, which means, press and hold the VoiceOver modifier, then press the right arrow key. For example, you press and hold the caps lock key, then press the right arrow key. Now continue to the next panel by pressing the right arrow key. Panel 3 of 20.
Alright, so we're going to go one more panel, and then again, I'll remind you how to get to this quick start guide on your own without going into the help menu, although I would encourage you to go in there and see what all is under that menu. So let's go to the next panel by pushing the right arrow.
Keyboard help. VoiceOver provides keyboard help for learning about the keys on your keyboard. After you start keyboard help, just press a key to hear its name. If you press the VoiceOver modifier at the same time, you hear the name of the VoiceOver command assigned to that key, and a brief description of the command. Use VoiceOver now to start keyboard help. Press VOK. When you're done, press the escape key to exit keyboard help and return to the quick start. Then press the right arrow key to continue to the next panel.
Alright, so he said push VOK, so that's what I'm going to do.
Starting keyboard help. Type keys to hear their names. Hold down the VoiceOver keys while typing to hear VoiceOver commands. Press the escape key at the top left corner of the keyboard to stop help.
Alright, so you heard all the instructions, so I'm going to push a couple of keys. Let's push
Control, Option.
See, he said the keys as I pushed them. Let's push the letter U.
U, rotor. Brings up a menu for selecting items found in focused window.
Alright, let's push the letter T.
T, red text attributes. Describes all text attributes. J, go to linked item. Moves the VoiceOver cursor to the item linked to the current item.
And that's better known to some people as VOJ, just so you know.
L, red current line. Reads the line in the VoiceOver cursor. M, go to menu bar. Moves VoiceOver cursor to the menu bar. Comma, mark item to drag and drop. Mark the item for later drag and drop. F, find. Finds an object that matches text within the window. R, red row header description. Read the row header.
Alright, and you get the idea, so let's hit escape.
Press the right arrow key to continue.
I'll push right arrow one more time and then we'll end this.
Move around the screen. To move the VoiceOver cursor, press the VoiceOver modifier while pressing the up, down, left, or right arrow key. As the cursor moves, you hear a description of the item it moves to. On screen, the VoiceOver cursor appears as a rectangular outline around the item. Use VoiceOver now to navigate around the practice area below. When you're done, continue to the next panel by pressing the right arrow key. VoiceOver on VoiceOver Quick Start. Move around the screen window. Show all comments. Selected radio button has keyboard focus.
Alright, so you heard all that. I'm going to hit escape to exit this quick start because I want you to this is something I want you to do on your own.
Finder, desktop.
And I'm back in the Finder.
Quick start tutorial control option F and command 8.
So basically, if you don't have your FN keys checked in the system preferences, which we'll talk about later, you're basically using the whole left hand of function, control, option, and command, and the F8 key. If you do have the modifier or the FN keys checked, you won't need the FN key, and you'll just use command or control, option, command, and F8, and that will open up your VoiceOver quick start guide.
Desktop.
I'm trying to think of what else I could show you to begin with, but the basic thing I want you to do is go through that quick start tutorial. And if you're an experienced VoiceOver user, you may say, oh, there's nothing I can learn from it. Oh yes, there is, because when a new OS comes out like Monterey and Big Sur last year, they always add new stuff, and even throughout the year, because I check it at least once or twice a month, and there's always stuff in there that I didn't know about. And I've been using the Mac for 11 years, and I'm not saying I'm the end-all be-all, but I know more than most. But like I told you before, I learn new things every day. Every day. Whether it's on an email list, whether it's from Googling, whether it's from an article that I've read. I learn new stuff every day. And, if I can't remember it all, of course I take notes. And again, I'll be sending a link to a shared notes folder. It'll be read-only, so you'll want to copy the notes to your own notes or a document or whatever. And I encourage you to do all this from your Mac. You're not going to learn reading all this stuff from your phone and thinking you can. No, practice makes perfect. Muscle memory, repetition. Use your Mac doing all this. Of course, I can't require you to do that, but it's a strong suggestion that you do read these documents, move them around on your Mac. The phone is nice, the iPad is nice, but if you truly want to get to know your Mac and how much more you can get from your Mac, then you do all these things from your Mac. The quick start guide, of course, that's the getting to it from your Mac is the only way to do it. But reading notes, copying them and pasting them into a text edit document or pages, whatever your method is, or just moving them to a personal notes folder that you want to use, or for your class notes. Couple other things I can show you here. If you have your key commander on, and you can do that by pushing option control shift K. So basically the VoiceOver keys, shift and the letter K to turn your key commander on.
Keyboard commander on.
Then you can use stuff like option T to tell you what time it is.
The 1st of January, 2:22 p.m.
Oh yeah, Happy New Year everybody. And then you can also use it to open up your mail, open up Safari, get your mail count, but I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. So just again, go through that quick start tutorial, and like I said, if you're a new Mac user, it's going to help you tremendously. Go through it a couple times. If you've been using the Mac for some time, trust me when I tell you, it will teach you something. So thanks for joining me on this first edition of More with the Mac YouTube stream.